And weekend summary, and we got a lot of things to talk about, and for some reason my screen is looking weird. Where's the layout editor? That's not what I want. We want this. So I think what I'm looking for is here. No, bear with me a minute. I've been having some more technical difficulties. So studio mode, there it is. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I hope everybody had a great week. I had a really good week, and a lot of things going on. First thing I'm going to do tonight is go over the website and show you the additions I've made, because this is really at the heart of what I'm doing, is creating this all-inclusive website that I'll be adding to more and more and more. I had some really good interviews this week. I wanted to follow up with DSS. I've got some requests. We got some events to talk about, and then additions to this. And as promised, I said I'm going to make my endorsements for the election. The election is Tuesday. I do believe early voting is over. I'm not sure if they're still doing curbside, but it's on the website. But I know that there's been a big increase. And when I talked to Heather at the election office, she said that turnout's good and a lot of people are coming. That's awesome. I'm so happy. So let's start off, because I know we're getting tired of this election. I know I am a little bit, but I'm a little more involved than most people. But, you know, this is, regardless of how you feel and what you want to vote for and what your platforms and issues are, being active is the most important thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is carry over here and go to the website to show you. Why isn't it transitioning? This thing drives me crazy. Studio mode. Transition. Yeah, now you should be able to see me. See the website. Yes, there it is. I'm going to get the hang of this eventually. You can teach an old dog new tricks. That's what I always say. And I've got this streaming live, not only to YouTube, but to the Halifax Oasis Facebook profile. And I really hope to get more transfer of people over to there, and let's get that built up, because the more I can do that, the more I can bring you. All right, so let's have a look over here. First thing I want to do is show you the thing I update every week is the local price watch. And you see here, I've chosen the top, say, I think 12 I researched, and I'm going by Food Lion, top 12 items that people buy and what the prices are. And hardly anything has changed, with the exception of these VIPs. Look at this. 1 week Coke was $10.98 but $5.49 if you had the VIP card. This week it's $10.99 but $7.99 with the VIP card. So you're not saving as much. The most significant change I've seen is here. A Snicker bar has gone up 10 cent, my bad, from $1.59 to $1.69. Everything else is kind of maintaining. Again, these VIPs tend to fluctuate. And then I've got gas prices. Now gas has gone up again. It's at $2.79 as of Friday. Yeah, because I call the gas house over across from Walmart every Friday morning, and they've gotten used to me now, and they're very gracious and give me prices. And cigarettes fluctuate a little bit. I think this $9.50 down here is not correct. I think one girl was giving it to me with tax, so I need to sort that out with them. Anyway, going back to the website here, here's the election information tab. If you click that, and it'll come up as a PowerPoint. You can do it as a slideshow if you want. And these are the last few years statistics. 78% of our county is registered, which means 25,579 people, which is surprising. I was surprised, to be honest with you. Now, that doesn't mean that many votes. As you see here, you know, the actual voting numbers are like, you know, half or less. Except for 2024, it was at 70. That was great. A lot of you felt passionate enough to get out here and vote, and we need to keep that up. All right, here's our current numbers. On the 16th, it was 2128, 515. On the 22nd, it was 2729. Look at that, like 600 more people came out and voted. And by mail, they got another 100. As of this week, on the 30th, the numbers Heather gave me, the in-person was 3877. 1,000 more people came out and voted. That's wonderful. And 722, over 100 more mail-in votes came in. So we're cranking up there. Now, Monday, I'm going to get the numbers again. And Tuesday night, I'm going to be at the election office live at about 7:15, 7:30, and we're going to watch the votes as they come in for these local elections. I'm sure we'll have information for state, etc. But my primary focus has been on this local Board of Supervisor election because this is a big, important election that's going to emit a lot of changes in this county. So there you go. Those are the stats for the election. The voting tabulation coming in so far. And also on this PowerPoint, it just shows you districts, and I've got other information. Contact, here's your sample ballots, what they look like. Let's do it. Let's do it, Halifax County. Get these voter numbers up. We're down to the wire here. You've got Monday and Tuesday. I want to see people around town with a little "I voted" thing on them. You should be proud to vote. All right, so let's get out of this. I think I do it this way. Yeah. Go back to the website, and let me show you what else I've added to it. If you click here, you can get to YouTube and Facebook. YouTube is where all the videos I've ever done are at now. I'm slowly getting things transferred back over to the new Facebook, and that should be done soon. I've added some more local pictures here that I think are cool that I found on the web. This is the blog. I've added more. I try to do about one a week, just little opinion pieces on things going on. I've added this calendar, which is great. I've got here what I'm doing as far as my schedule for the podcast. I'm trying to do a Wednesday guest host podcast, Thursday an interview or event podcast, and then Friday the weekly wrap-up. So that's what I'm committing to now is 3 podcasts. But you never know where I'm going to be or what I'm doing, and I'm doing live as I try to interview people and get to events in the county. There was something going on tonight. I only found out about it today, so I wasn't able to do it. So the reality is this podcast today is late. It was supposed to be Friday night, and this is actually Saturday because I was in Richmond all day yesterday at auctions. If anybody wants to know how to do auctions, contact me because God Almighty, I love them. You just find the coolest things, and I do resell online and locally. All right, what else here have I added? Let's look at our stuff is the same. Support is the same. Here are the podcast. There's your link to the YouTube. There's your link to the Facebook. Halifax County, towns and communities. I'm really hoping to start beefing up these pages in the coming weeks. And here, I've added the local scam. I think I talked about that last week. If you want to add somebody who's really messed you over on some work they've done, just bring all the receipts I need. I can't just say somebody did a bad job. I've got to have photos, receipts, evidence, all that. I've got a couple of my own I'm going to be putting up there in the coming weeks too. The events in the county is ever changing. Excuse me. You see, I try to change this at least once or twice a week, take down the old stuff. Here's, what is this on the 1st? And if you have a church or organization or anybody out there that's got something coming up, just email it to me at Halifax, FACTS, @gmail.com, and I'll be happy to post it for you. Now, if this is something that's an advertisement for your business, that is something that would be more of a paid advertisement. But if it's an event, you see here's a car race, here's the holiday living show. This is great. I really want to try to do a little piece on this, Feed the Community Thanksgiving Outreach. That's at Beth Carr in Halifax. They're having a pancake breakfast here on the 3rd, the Scottsburg Volunteer Fire Department. There's a Christmas thing going on. Oh, see, I've got raised. That was yesterday. Well, it was today, technically, though. It was yesterday. So I need to take that one down, and I'll get that updated when I finish this podcast. But I really need more input from people because what I'm getting is what I'm kind of just scouring off Facebook and web pages and websites and stuff. So if you send it to me, I'm happy to post your stuff. And the earlier I can get it up here, obviously, the longer it'll be more relevant for people to look at. But part of what's going to make this significant is I need you to help me build these podcasts, web pages, profiles, YouTube, Facebook. I just need to get more people watching, more people following, more people adding me as a friend or contact or however you want to do it. Because I'm not doing this on my personal page anymore. It's just too convoluted. So that's the events that I keep updated. And the other thing I wanted to show you is here on the meetings and documents. I have added a lot to this too. This is what's going on at the public library. It links you to their page. They've got great stuff. I've also gotten a copy of the county supervisor's bylaws and procedures that if you really want to get involved and show up at their meetings, they have a meeting Tuesday night. I don't know if it's going to be live streamed. I'm going to have to go up in person and ask them because my emails are going unanswered. And when I ask questions, because if they're not going to live stream this coming Tuesday night, which is the next meeting, is it Monday or Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday night. It's on my calendar. Actually, it's on the calendar here too, on the website. If they're not live streaming, I'll go and film that for you because I think especially the citizen comments are good and interesting. This is all the Freedom of Information paperwork I've gotten back on things to show you. One of them had to do with the social services follow-up. I have filed another Freedom of Information Act because I didn't get in totality everything I asked for last time. What else is different on here? This is all your meetings and links. Of course, I keep building this Find Your Resource. Lord, sorry. She always calls. This is going to be our next guest host. She's like a local artist and she's really fun. Let me just tell her real quick that I'm actually live right now. She's going to be, she kind of wants to get involved and do some other things with the podcast. And I'm like, absolutely. In the middle of a live. Call her later. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's doing next Wednesday. I have to look at my little notations. So yeah, so there's the website. There's everything that's new. There's everything that's updated. I've noticed that the traffic on the website is increasing, which pleases me immensely. Your participation, views, traffic, visits, likes, comments, emails, that's what motivates me to keep going. Okay? So let me switch back the scene here. I feel like I'm missing something else I was going to tell you about. Yeah, I can't follow up DSS. The interviews I had last week were really good. It was good to meet the writing candidate, Daryl Malone, for District 3 Board of Supervisors. It was great talking to Michelle, the head of the Democratic Party here. Super nice person. I'm working on getting an interview with a representative or the leader of the Republican Party here in town. Oh, yeah, the interview with Consuela. I did have one person tell me they were having glitches with it, but no one else has told me that, so I'm going to have to presume it was just her computer at the time. Yeah, these are the kind of people I want to meet in the county. I feel like I have another interview lined up that I'm forgetting to tell you about. Gosh, I don't know, but I'm going to try to put all of that information on my calendar. But I do know next week we have the co-host artist that's coming, and we have, God Almighty, who is it? I have another interview. Anyway, it'll come to me. This is what happens. See, someone told me, if you get too many vaccinations, that your memory goes and that you get old. I was highly insulted because it's total bullshit. Oh, right. The candidate forum was this week. That's who I was going to try to get an interview with, Mr. Dixon. And I was so busy this week with other personal things that I didn't get a chance to call him. But I did see a little poster of his up in Centerville, not a poster, but them things you stick in the ground with his picture and information on it. So, yeah, the candidate forum. Someone told me that I was showing anger in my commentary as I ran that video, and she said it wasn't a good look. But and I wrote a blog about this on the website. It's difficult for me to watch someone lie and not get emotional about it. So I'm not sure how to handle that in the future, especially because I really like doing live videos. So if I'm out here interviewing somebody and they tell me a lie to my face, how am I supposed to react? I can't, I'm not a news organization. I don't claim to be, you know, a bona fide newspaper or anything at this juncture in time. So what I'm doing is more of human interest and opinion, though I do promise you I will do my best to always bring you truth and try to uncover things that you ask me to do. So not showing emotions very difficult for me. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I'll try. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to Mr. Pinnell, but I was angry, and I would much rather talk to him and have this conversation face to face, but he refuses to do it. So what can I do? But I thought the candidate interview was good. I had difficulty with sound. My captions didn't, it kept calling Mr. Roller Mr. Robot, which was kind of funny. But I tried to correct it as it went, and I hope that synopsis or running commentary was okay. If I should have just replayed the videos, I could have done it. But I do wish I had gone in person, because I would have much preferred my own film work. Yeah, that was quite interesting. Quite interesting. So I guess that brings me to one of the main things I was going to do tonight. I'm trying to think of what else I needed to update or bring the week in review. It's been crazy nationally. This whole food insecurity issue. I don't know how anybody can look at what's going on from a national standpoint and not be horrified. Our government is bragging about marble bathrooms and taking trips, and common citizens are facing food insecurity. Now, I had a couple of people make comments to me about people shouldn't be on food stamps anyway. And I really dislike blanket statements like that. See, I'm not going to get angry. I'm just going to voice something. I hate when people make blanket statements like that, because most of the people on food stamps are disabled, like Consuela. Or they have children in the family, or they're elderly, or they're veterans. Fraud, I mean, years of research and assessments has shown that fraud is like 8%. So if you read my blog, I go into this in more detail about, I don't think people who are always spouting about being Christians would say that love is conditional. So my husband is oftentimes, like, if I see somebody homeless on the street or whatever, you know, I'll give them some change or go buy them a meal and bring it to them. I got no problem doing that. And when I lived in China, that was something I was going to talk about too, China. When I lived there, the students, I taught at a university, and the students would tell me, Lisa, don't give them money. They're just gangs, and they've got more money than you probably do. And they bring all that money back, and, you know, that's how they make their livings and whatever. And if you've seen a movie called Slumdog Millionaire, those kids, they would kidnap these kids and make them go out and beg for money and bring it back to them, and they were rich. And they would even maim the kids, like put their eye out so they looked more pitiful on the street. It was horrifying. And I'm sure that goes on. I'm sure there's cheats. I'm sure there's people that don't deserve it. But why are we going to sacrifice the 7 or 8 out of 10 that genuinely need it because of that? Instead of poo-pooing people that get food stamps, why not get people with the powers that be to make it more restrictive, or more where they can check for fraud, you know, where it's not, where the 8 or 10% can't do the fraud. There should be those checks in place. But I'll tell you, before I put myself through school and had 3 little girls by myself, I got food stamps too. Jesus, we probably wouldn't have eaten without it while I put myself through school. So by making those blanket statements of people shouldn't be on food stamps, you're really crucifying people who are trying and need it, you know? So as this news has come out, my understanding is that Virginia is going to pay for November. So the food insecurity is not in the state of Virginia for the month of November, which great, awesome. But I don't think it's going to be resolved by the end of November. I think this is going to rock on. I think there's a stalemate, and the consequences of the stalemate is people in Washington, everybody in Washington, they're getting their 6-figure salaries. Congress is on vacation and has worked, 12 out of 90 days, and they're still getting their 6-figure salaries. There's marble bathrooms. There's travel. There's 30% of the White House being torn down. There's gold gilded walls. This is, oh my God. Okay, see, here I go. I'm getting mad. This is a replication of the pre-French Revolutionary times. Let them eat cake. Marie Antoinette, Louis the 14th, was it? Yeah. And the people suffering are the commoners, the common people who struggle to make it paycheck to paycheck. So I've been there. I've done that. I've been so poor that when I had my first daughter, I was using cloth diapers and cleaning them out in a bathtub because I didn't have a washer and dryer. I had to walk to a waitress job to earn enough money to get a car. I'm the type of person that social safety nets should help. And I gladly took it. There's a lot of people like I was out there, a lot. Or they simply can't help it. If you watch Consuela's interview, that woman has been plagued with horrible health issues her whole life, asthmatic, but she still tries to work. She still tries to drive. Even now, after all that, dialysis 3 times a week, she still goes to school. She needs help. So I had asked her, about this food insecurity, and it made me think, we as a community here in Halifax County, great if anybody else does it. I only want to address here locally. What are we going to do for the 3,200 families that get food stamps or assistance, and then suddenly if they don't? Okay, we've got 6 food banks on the website I showed you. The Feed Halifax flyer, where all the food banks are and when they distribute. I've just volunteered to help at one here down the street from me. In fact, that's right, I need to call them. And sure, we can have food banks, but food banks are going to give them canned goods and non-perishables. What about good hot meals? Do we have a soup kitchen here? I don't think we do. I'm willing, if I can, to try and make meals. But I feel like maybe if we have 32,000 people in this county and we get a family to adopt a family or somebody who needs help, is in the food insecurity, because there's 3,200, 32,000 to 3,200. Only 1 out of 10 people need to help. I don't know. I suck at math. But I'd be willing to adopt somebody. I'd be willing to do something like, make sure 1 square home-cooked meal gets to a person in need. And if we all pitch in and do that, then this community can connect with each other and solve some of these immediate crises we have. Anyway, so but nationally, it's just a nightmare. It's every morning I wake up and I don't want to read the news, but I have to keep my pulse on things. So bringing that down, I know we've also got the the statewide election going on. Of course, I'm endorsing the Democratic governor because I feel like we need to get more Democrats in power, because even with the Republicans having the White House, the Senate, the congressmen, everything, they got the whole shebang, and the government's been shut down for almost 2 months. And that's just not good. Excuse me. So yeah, I've already voted, of course. I voted about 3 weeks ago. Excuse me, I'm getting hiccups. Why does this happen every time I go live? And then I spill my coffee on me. I'm so sorry. Big time hiccups. So, anyway, bringing us back down to the local election. I have spent the last, 4 to 6 weeks covering this election, trying to get more information, trying to understand how our local board of supervisors work, trying to understand all the committees that we have and what their function is. I really need to get someone within the cluster of the board of supervisors that would talk to me more openly and freely. And there's There's one or two, but not enough. Not enough. There's so much more I need to know, and there needs to be so much more openness and transparency, that word we hear. That was brought up at the last candidate forum. Now, I've been to 2 candidate forums. I've had about 6 interviews. Somebody asked me to put them up on the new page, which I will. I'm trying to get to it. And so I feel like I've met as many of the candidates who will allow me to meet them. And I've had conversations and gotten to know them, because not only, I need my list here, not only am I trying to ask information about their platform and issues for you, but before the interviews and after the interviews, I've spent a lot of time talking to them. So I feel like I've gotten to know these people pretty good. So as I promised, I'm going to give my endorsements. Not that my opinion means anything, who cares, but I'm just going to tell you based on what, I've experienced here in the last few weeks. Here we go. Now, the sitting Board of Supervisors, who will be up for election in 2027, and I'm really looking forward to that race. There's 5 of them, I believe. Is it 5? Pete Riddle, Dennis Witt, and Keith McDowell, who all denied any type of interviews with me or conversations with me. So I don't know them at all. But hopefully between now and 2027, I can set something up to start meeting and get to know them. Of course, closer to the election, I will, and whoever's going to run against them. And I do hope we have a very robust election in 2027, and that now is the time for people here in Halifax County to start thinking about running and getting into this. There are so many good people out here in this county that would do such a good job. And a lot of them don't want to do it because they don't want to be in the public. They don't want to do interviews. They don't want to talk to people. And I get that. But this county needs some of you movers and shakers to get in local politics. Same with the school board. That's something I hadn't even delved into much. The other 2 sitting candidates that refuse to speak to me whatsoever, return messages after promising and everything, of course, are Mr. Pinnell and Mr. Claiborne. The other 2 sitting candidates is Mr. Roller, who's up for election, and he's gave me an interview, and I've had some good conversations with him. And I've also spoken to Mr. Smart, who is not up for election, but was really good about sitting down and talking and explaining things to me with the board now anyway. So that was great. So there you have it. Now, let's move into those who are running. Larry Roller for District 2 is up against James Dixon, who is also running for District 2. Mr. Dixon and I spoke a few times, constantly trying to schedule a time to do an interview, but we just couldn't connect. He was too busy. And I understand, you got jobs, life goes on, you've got commitments, you've got weekend events. I do think that he earnestly was going to have an interview, but I don't think he prioritized it. So because of that, I have to endorse Larry Roller, because I've spoken with him. He seems like a very intelligent man. He was a engineer. He answered a lot of really good technical questions about things, and his heart seems to be in it. He seems to be pretty easygoing, but I do think he wants or will. Yeah, I mean, I can be wrong. I just think he'll do what's right for this county, and I think that he will research things and maybe have independent thinking. And I'm sorry to say I can't give any opinion on Mr. Dixon because I never talked to him, never got to that opportunity. So my endorsement for District 2 is Larry Roller. Now let's move on to District 3 between Hubert Pinnell and Jeff Oakes, and this is going to be no surprise to anyone. I'm strongly endorsing Jeff Oakes. I've talked to him a lot, spent time with him. He has been so open, and he's been very service-oriented, and he's been very open about everything, even personal things. Pinnell brought up something about his past that, he freely talked to me about the very first time I met him, and it was such a nothing burger. People want to take a little something about you and blow it up and make it sound like you're, either I mean, people have met me think I'm nuts just because, they base it, they don't get to know me or talk to me or anything like that. And, that's fine. You want to limit yourself that way, go ahead. But multiple forums, multiple questions, multiple interviews, and multiple conversations. I think Jeff Oakes has what it takes to lead this county. He's smart. His heart is in it. He's in the best direction. He's got really good experience. And what I really like about him is that he's been on the other end of a bad situation and is humble and open about it and moves forward. So even if we take a step backward in this county, he's going to be a person that's going to be accountable for it, admit it, understand the consequences, and move forward. Mr. Purnell is all about smokescreens and, quite frankly, untruths. Him saying he's accessible is simply not true. I'm a personal testimony to that. I think Mr. Purnell has maybe been in the position so long and power's gone to his head, and he's been on so many boards and made so many decisions and made money flow the way he wants to, that power goes to people's head. And I think he has lost sight of what a public servant is. And I think Jeff Oakes is all about being a public servant. And I think he's going to do really good things for this county. And I think that he will help move everyone collectively forward. And I think he's going to be able to make this group more cohesive. Now, I can tell you, I don't want to go as far as to say he has a temper, but he has shown a little bit of emotion when it comes to somebody trying to, like that criminal regime thing or whatever it was Purnell said that was just out of, that was just, I don't know. I'm trying to find the right vocabulary for it. It was unprofessional and it was wrong. And I could tell that it bothered Mr. Oakes, as it should have. So being able to rise above all that, I think really he's done well with that. Maybe with just a little peek in the door that bothered him. So if you're from District 3, I think that your best leader by far is going to be Jeff Oakes. And I like that he has that law enforcement background. So he would adhere to the policy or make sure policies made. Because someone else brought up about, do they even have a mission statement on the Board of Supervisors? And I've read through the bylaws and procedures, and it is a little sketchy. There's a lot more that could be added to it. I think the Board of Supervisors needs to learn AI a little bit, because it is helpful. All right, so that's District 3. District 4, there isn't a race. District 5, there isn't a race. Now, District 5 interests me because that's my district, and that'll be up in 2027. District 6. District 6 currently is Stanley Brandon, who is no longer running. And that is going to be between James Gordon and Monty Thompson. Now, this one is the most interesting to me, mainly because I have gone back and forth. Now, we have the writing candidate. Don't let me forget Daryl Malone. He's also District 6. Looking at the three of them overall, I think all three of these men are intelligent. I think they are intending on do the best for this county. But I do think they have very different styles. I think in the position of a politician and someone who needs to be a leader that's a public servant and doing what they're doing for this county needs to have some other characteristics. It's kind of like somebody who's a TV show host, Being an introvert is very difficult for them to succeed at that job. So I think having a certain amount of extroversion, background, experience, leadership skills, people skills, there's a lot of pieces to being successful. And being service-oriented is a huge one, not being ego-driven. I don't really think all three of these men, I think they're more service-driven. But I'm seeing it as a continuum. I see Mr. Malone in the middle. I see Mr. Thompson on one end, and I see Mr. Gordon on the other end. I don't really need to clarify that. I think if you watch those interviews, you'll understand what I'm saying. clearly, Mr. Gordon is the most extroverted of the three. And Mr. Malone falls in the middle, and Mr. Thompson, I think, is more introverted. But if you go to the heart of their intentions, I think all three of them have the good intent. If we want to talk about being steady and level-headed and not bringing emotion into things, again, I see a continuum. I think the most laid back is Mr. Thompson. The most not bringing emotion into things would be him. I think Mr. Malone's in the middle, and I think Mr. Gordon might be a little more emotional about things. And that's hand in hand with extroversion. I'm just the same way. This is why you see me get angry or upset, or people know they can trigger me. I hate that word. But they know they can set me off by saying things. And I've had some of my best conversations because of that. Mr. Thompson has a really good background in project management. And Mr. Malone has a good background with the military, and Mr. Gordon has a good background with both project management within military, and he's got a very international flair. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth here. When I first met Mr. Gordon, I did not like him one bit. I thought he was brash. I thought he was blustery and a little bit ego, about me. And I thought he had a bit of a spin on his answers in our first interview that, when you ask somebody and they don't directly answer the question, they kind of circle around it with buzzwords and stuff. That was kind of the impression I got. My opinion's changed a bit, It's the more I've talked to him, the more I've realized there's some layers you need to get under. Mr. Thompson, I felt like I had to really draw information out of him, and that's because of his introversion. Super intelligent guy, great background. But I really had to pull that out of him. And then he didn't participate in any second interviews or second forums. So I don't feel like I got the opportunity to get to know him deeper. The same thing with Mr. Malone, because it was kind of a last minute write in, but I felt so lucky to get that interview with him, and I really appreciated his time, because you as the viewer need to know all your options when you go to the ballot box, and that's one that is a lot more work because you have to actually write his name in. So anyway, after giving you my opinion of all that, and kind of analyzing my take on these three men, and they're probably going to say that I'm just full of it, but that's okay too. This is just, how I see it. But I am going to endorse James Gordon, because I do think he has the push to stop this nonsense that is going on in this board. I think that he can come in as a leader if he's not abrasive, if he makes a better, impression on everyone else. But I think he's got the skill to do that. And basically, it's like being a team leader, and doing those cheesy icebreaker and, hey, let's all have our part. Let's do this. How are we going to make this teamwork? His background is clearly about doing teamwork and being a leader within a team. And the last conversation I had with him was really good. I felt a lot better about that. Once I kind of got past that big personality of his, I realized he does have a lot of what it takes, I think, to be a public servant in this county. So I know a lot of people are going to just look at him as an outsider and probably have the same impression I did. But look past that, listen to what his platforms are, what he feels the direction this board needs to go in. And I really think this outside fresh voice is what this Board of Supervisors actually needs. So I give my full endorsement to James Gordon. I think he would be really good in that position, and I think he would do well for this county. And I think the combination of these men, especially the two new ones I hope do win the election, I think it's going to be a big refreshing change, and I think There's going to be a lot more transparency. I think our questions are going to be answered. I think people are going to start answering phone calls. I hope to God they'll put someone in charge of handling the public so I don't have to keep writing emails or making phone calls over and over and over just to get a simple question answered. That's super frustrating. Yeah. So anyway, there's my endorsements. I'm sorry if anybody's disappointed, especially like, Mr. Thompson. I really liked you and I think you're a great guy, but I do think Mr. Gordon is going to be better in this position. And again, my opinion may not mean a hill of beans, and that's fine too. So there you go. I'm looking forward to it, and I really, really hope to get a lot of people tuning in Tuesday night. I'm excited. I've never covered an election live before. This is going to be exciting, and hopefully there will be a lot of people to interview while I'm there. My next out and about the towns, I'm going to be in Dryburgh. I want to interview the people in that mall, they call it. It's actually like the only store. It's kind of like H&H in Vernon Hill. That's what I'm expecting anyway, and I'm really hoping, hint, hint, Mr. I think it's Ferguson with the Republican Party. Oh, I got to tell you a funny story. In my auction, I thought I was buying a ventriloquist, and when I got it home, this was an auction in Richmond. This is what made me so late Friday. And I thought, what a cool little gift for my grandbaby. I thought it was one of them things, and you got to remember it's 2.5 hours away, so I can't preview the items. It's a lot of guesswork, but I thought it was the kind you put your hand in the back of. I just thought that would be a fun toy for my grandkid, and it wasn't. It was a doll that you put batteries in the feet and it yammers, and it looked like what's her name, Ellen DeGeneres. It was a female with short hair, and I thought, oh, that's cute. So I get this thing home. And it's Hillary Clinton. And it's something that came back out in 2016 or whenever she ran the first time. And she's singing a song that is My Country 'Tis of Thee. My name is Hillary, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh my God. But, and it's not like a value. I don't even think I could sell it. So one of my little Republican friends, I jokingly said, look, I won you this doll at an auction just for you. And he said, excellent. I need a new target practice. And I said, see, you Republicans, you're violent. It was funny. And these are the conversations we need to have. So anyway, I'm hoping to talk to the Republican Party dude soon. But I know there's some family issues going on, and that's fine. If there's anything you guys need from me, if there's anything I can do, I can bring to you, events to cover, you want me to come see and do some live streaming, or I'm trying to get all your little pancake breakfasts and Brunswick stew sales up on the website, but I need your participation. I need your help. The main thing you can do is if you do watch this, share it to people, please, and get them to follow, friend, comment, view, whatever, especially on YouTube. Because if I get so many viewers on YouTube, I can get paid advertising to help chip in costs. Not from you guys. I'm not ever going to ask you for money. I think that's Takarama. But, there's other ads that would play during the videos that could be a monetary benefit to help pay for equipment and whatnot. So, yeah, if you could become a follower on YouTube, that would be awesome. And if you could share with people to become followers on YouTube, that would be awesome. Send me whatever anytime. I'm here. And, yeah, I'm excited about the election.